Welcome back to the final episode. Oh, man. Whew. Welcome back to the final episode of the Bad Questions, Worst Answers podcast. Each week, I, Connor, along with my friends Charlie.
That's me.
Present a bad question to the others. Awkward. Yeah. Then as a group, as the two of us, we attempt to explore these bad questions with the worst answers. Guys, the podcast just got better. Brett left.
It might be hard to tell because the quality is already so much higher. But Brett's gone.
Brett's gone.
This is a real touchdown. I mean, this is a 3-pointer layup touchdown. For the pod.
we were at the 4th-yard line. It was third down. We fucking did a fucking, I don't know, Colby, you got to help me out with these call-outs here. This is
our homecoming Friday Night Lights blowout. I mean, this is us just bringing it home right here.
Yeah, it was. We're reaching a moment in the podcast. Now that Brett's gone, we are uploading consistently.
And let's remember, this is just a week after the water episode. Actually, it might be 2. I can't remember.
It's 2 weeks after the water episode.
Okay, it's 2 concurrent final episodes with huge improvements to the brand.
Last episode, hit it off great with the water episode. Probably one of our best episodes yet. Then fucking Brett leaves, and we're slam dunking this thing. We're knocking this thing out of the park. So fuck Brett. Charlie, do we want to kind of like dive in onto why Brett left?
I mean, it's tough to put this in a way that doesn't make Brett. It's tough to put this in a way that doesn't, kind of denigrate or degrade the great work that Brett did. But frankly, he's a pussy. I mean, he's
just a big fat vagina, like
a gaping vagina is what Brett is.
Oh man. He just walks into a room and your fucking serotonin levels are... Is that serotonin?
I'm just thinking about it.
It makes me tired thinking about Brett. Yeah. I get lethargic just like once Brett's name pops up. No wonder I've been off my game the past couple months. Brett's been on the podcast.
It's been weird. Ever since we started the pod, it's just felt like you haven't been... haven't been present for the pod.
I feel awake and ready to start this thing. Now that Brett's gone. If Brett ever comes back, God forbid.
F's in the chat for that.
Expect some quality dips if Brett ever returns, but we're smooth sailing right now. Brett, he texted us. Aside the fact that he's a major pussy,
we'll set that aside.
He's talking to us. He's like, I gotta go on my wine tours. I gotta go on my camping trips. I'm hanging out with my friends. I don't want to do anything productive with my time. I gotta script the next Minecraft. You know what? Fuck him. We're making something new.
I don't remember that one. Just to be on the right side of history, I don't remember that coming up in the group.
It doesn't matter. You all get the gist, people. Brett left. If you want,
we're lighter, we're more agile.
Yeah,
we're adaptable.
Yeah, I'm on the ball right now. If you guys want to type in the comments how much you hate Brett, go for it. I will be replying in the comments to your guys' questions, comments about Brett. If you just want to type in the chat, fuck Brett. That shit will go straight from held to review to you can see it on the front page of my video when this thing goes up. If you guys want to just type in fuck Brett. Yeah.
We remember back a long time ago when there was a fuck Colby movement.
Yeah.
This needs to be a that was a drop in the bucket. This is a tidal wave.
Yeah, the floodgates are opening. It's fuck Brett now, people.
I don't want to seem too extreme, but are death threats too much?
No, everything is on the table.
Okay,
go for it. Send anything Brett's way. I mean, just fly him out. I don't care.
Yeah, I think we've covered that. I think we've really solidly covered the Brett moving on.
I mean, it's a damn shame, but
we're all torn up. I think if you can't tell, we're all really torn up about it.
You know, now that I have time to like free up space in my brain now that Brett's gone. I'm like, oh, like Brett's gone. Like, I'm broken up about it. But you know, we got something to do. We're doing this for the greater good. So, Charlie, do you want to get into your question first?
Yeah. So,
I thought that was a pretty good segue. I did.
That was pretty good.
Wait. Before we get into Colby, how do you feel
Circle
about...
back.
Colby, how do you feel about this whole situation?
Well, as the producer, you know, I just thought I would address... I mean, obviously we had some great memories together, but I think we can all agree that the memories we're going to create now are going to be about 10 times better.
You know, you say great memories, but I
don't remember having one.
Well, I'm just trying to be respectful, honestly. I don't want to burn any bridges. Yeah.
Brett will come crawling back like the pussy he is. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's some viewers out there that are probably questioning, I mean, like how big of an impact Brett leaving will actually have. I just got off the phone with some big-time experts, and they said the podcast is expected to jump from about 30 to 95 views per episode to anywhere between 1,000 to 2,000 in the first day. So,
holy shit.
I mean...
Wow.
We're making big strides.
I'm expecting some big numbers.
We pay a very, very cheap consulting company to give us just some rough numbers on our podcast output. Yeah. And so that's what Colby's referring to.
100% true though. They're very reliable.
Yeah.
They're the best of the best.
Yeah. All right.
Good. We made good on that bit. I feel like we brought that one together.
Fuck Brett.
I've been watching. Let me start with this. Let me start with just a small question. Have you ever seen the show Big Mouth on Netflix?
I've seen an episode and a half. 2 episodes and a half.
Okay.
I get the gist.
Did you like it?
I thought the first episode was like kind of funny, and then I just like I like tuned out. Like I can't get over the animation. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Nick Kroll or John Mulaney, but I can like appreciate that like they're one of like the most like respected comedians.
Yeah, I was the same. Like a couple years ago, or whenever it first came out, I think I watched a couple episodes and didn't care for it. But this last couple weeks, I've come back to it, and I am deeply engaged. There are some bad episodes, and a lot of stuff doesn't land, I think, but some of it is, I think, just phenomenal. Like it has me laughing hard, which most stuff does not pull off very well. But with its focus on like middle school and you know puberty and all that, and how it sort of addresses these things in a really comedic way, it got me thinking about and remembering a lot of those similar experiences from my life. And my question is, what impact do you think middle school, and maybe that sort of like broader era of like puberty and sort of growing into who you are there any like memorable moments from that time that you hang on to, and how did they impact you?
I mean, I like to think that like middle school had a like a pretty huge impact to like on who I am today. Middle school sucked for me. I just gotta.
Has anyone had a good middle school? Does anyone look back positively and be like, middle school is really a peak for me? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But I was also fat, and being fat in middle school, it's not fun. Getting bullied about being fat isn't the greatest. But I can I mean, when I do.
Let me tell you though, I was scrawny. I was short and scrawny in middle school, and that was not a good combination either, because you could just get bullied then. At least when you're bigger, you've got some, physical resistance. But as a scrawny kid, I just got shoved into everything, and I mean, I was like a boomerang flying off whatever whatever kid wanted to do something.
Yeah. I mean, like I guess like the most like. I moved like from city. I moved to a different town, like in the middle of like 7th grade. So I had like an odd transition, like through that, where honestly it did suck, but I definitely take a lot more positive like experience from moving like in the middle of middle school, because like I had like barely any friends at my previous grade school, and yeah, I just like really struggled like socially to make friends. But once I moved, like it was like tough like making friends at first. Like I think it is with anyone like moving, like kind of just like uprooting their lives to a different place. But I like, I don't know, I had a lot more positive experiences with the friends that I did grow to have during middle school moving than I did at my previous grade school. And I don't know if that's because like since at my previous grade school, like I like went from like preschool to 7th grade with these people, so everyone's like coolness or like social status, it's really weird to say social status in like fucking 5th grade, but I mean there is like social status there.
I think it's almost more intense then than any time after. Like, everything mattered so much then. And the people that are in power are so, like, like, socially in power are so superior to those that aren't.
Yeah. It doesn't really change until high school. Like, because I feel like once, like, I got to high school, all of that was, like, flipped. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. There's like, back to, like, the social status thing, like, yeah, I think it was just because like I was so engraved into like this one place, like from preschool to like 7th grade, to where it was really hard to break out of that or like make new friends. And like I was in football and basketball and all these things, but it still like didn't help the fact that I was just like a fat chubby just like loser like at the time. Like I like I mean like I had like a friend or two that I would like make YouTube videos with, but like that was kind of it. Like it was a pretty depressing experience, even when I moved. But like I think moving in that middle school experience in that different town kind of like set up to have a lot more positive experiences. And I don't know if it would have been like that if I stayed with those people in my old grade school.
I think hearing you talk about what you gained from moving and how that influenced you, it's making me think back on like my experience in middle school was having, like we've talked about, that intense social stratification, and the kid at the top of it was just a horrible dude.
Yeah, it's almost like how they personify high school, but like it's middle school. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. And it was this one kid, and he was awful. Nobody liked him, but he controlled the whole grade. We had a super small class of like 25 kids. And so this one dude could just kind of bully everybody and, you know, sort of controlled the whole thing. Yeah. And my experience in middle school was just being miserable all the time because you got bullied no matter what you did. You know, no matter what successful thing you did or unsuccessful, you were just going to take shit for it. And it's made me, I think, like very, very tough looking back on it. And I think hearing you talk about how your shitty experience has made you maybe like a stronger and like easier person to make friends with or something. I don't know if I'm extrapolating too much, but it seems to me that middle school is this really malleable time where the shitty things that are shitty in the moment really don't last long. You know, like you don't remember them or feel them as shitty anymore, but you just sort of learn to get through them.
Yeah. I'll still like think about it sometimes, especially like now that like I've been on my own. It's definitely like being away from all that like has definitely made me think about how that's like shaped me. And even like high school, and even like I'll think back to like a lot of my middle school experiences and be like, wow, that like really like set in motion to like who I am today. Like I'm 20 years old and like it built me to be like this person. Yeah, for better or worse. Like I think it's done like a lot of positive things. It's a weird adverse effect when, because normally you hear, I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong, but like normally how I feel like it goes, when like you kind of like rule the school or like you're like the most popular or like things are really going great for you, like in middle school, high school, normally it's like a weird adverse effect to where it's like normally like things kind of like probably get shittier. It's like it's a weird where like the people who are at the top like need like to get brought down a peg, but the people who have like constantly been like brought down like get like lifted up like later in life. It's really weird.
Yeah, I mean it's like the ancient joke of getting, you know, like peaking in high school and that kind of thing. And I think in maybe high school it's less notable. I think there are people that are like doing well socially in high school and are just doing well because they figured it out and aren't because they're losers and are only cool in high school. Yeah. But if you're like cool in middle school, that's a bad sign. I mean, you've got a lot of work to do.
There's so much shit going on in middle school. Like there's like that's like peak puberty. Like, is it peak puberty?
I think so.
I mean, that's when everything starts to. Yeah.
It's certainly like the beginning of it, which is probably the worst. Because by by high school, everybody's kind of on the same page with it. You know, they kind of get that everybody's going through some shit and things are bad. But in middle school, it's like you're either too far behind or you're too far ahead and you're making fun of where everybody else is at and that kind of thing. It's incredibly toxic. Do you have any memories, like any specific haunting memories of middle school? You have a great memory, and I'd like to pick it, and hopefully it can jog mine.
Fuck. That's a good question, because I feel like I have a ton.
And it's tough to put you on the spot with that. I'll try and fill a bit. I know, just looking back at ours, I went to a private middle school, and so every Friday we had like a super shitty indoor pool. And every Friday for gym, we'd go to the pool and you'd go in a locker room with all the other boys and like put on a swimsuit and go swim. And it was like this weekly check-in on how everybody's doing in regards to puberty. And so the dudes who had small dicks got just beat up and the dudes with big dicks beat up the kids with small dicks. It was like this beautiful...
That's hilarious.
It's maybe the most perfect quintessential visualization of puberty that I could come up with.
Have you seen...
And the room even... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
The room we changed in, there were the showers, and so that was a whole thing. I mean, the showers were just that was a war zone in there every day or every Friday. But then in the locker room itself, the middle of the room had like this. There's like the lockers around the edge, and there's a little concrete bench that the lockers sit on, right? So you can sit and do your thing. But then in the middle of the room, the bench came out to the center and like became this big. It was like a stage. It was literally a stage in the middle of this locker room. And so where this goes is pretty inevitable. But it was just. I almost feel. I don't know that I really want to put words to it, but just there's a stage in the middle of this middle school boys' naked locker room, and dudes are getting up there doing some of the most atrocious things you could imagine, and it's scarring for everyone involved. I mean, the kids that were doing it, I can't imagine how they look back on it.
They're probably like, dude, I fucking was helicoptering my dick in fucking middle school. I had the biggest fucking piece.
Literally that. It was horrifying. Anyway, that's a formative experience of mine.
Yeah. We didn't have a locker room in middle school, so like during PE, like the boys had to change. I went to like a Catholic middle school, so like we had to. It was just like we had this like piss yellow polo and these navy blue jeans. Navy blue khaki shorts, and fucking the boys had to change. We still had to keep we still had to wear our shorts, but we changed our shirts at the very back of the gym, and the girls had to change in like the girls' bathroom, and and our PE teacher was a girl, and so she would just like stand there like cross-armed, like looking at us like take off our shirt. Like imagine like 6th graders or like 5th graders like taking off their shirts and like putting on just like raggedy like white t-shirts to like run in, and she's just like standing there like mean mugged, like making sure like no trouble's coming, because it's weird like looking back on that, being like my PE teacher like probably like twice every week saw like what, like 11-year-old Connor, 10-year-old Connor just like take off my shirt, which is like, it's already weird enough. I don't know. Also, while you're saying that, I remembered one of my experiences. At our middle school, we would have these like fundraisers, and like if you sold like fucking pizza or like frozen pizza or like cookies or whatever, if you sold enough that you would get like an Xbox 360 or something. And during one of these fundraisers, I was sitting next to like the cooler like athlete kids that like held a lot of weight in our class, and I farted and like it wasn't like loud. Well, it was kind of loud, but you could smell it. And like one of the asshole kids that I just never got along with, he was like, "Connor, did you fucking fart?" And like, thankfully, bless his heart, one of like the other like jock kids who was like his friend was like, "No, dude, it was me. It was me who did it," and it like covered for me. But like, I know it was a cool experience, but it was still like humiliating. To me.
Those are like epic moments at the time, though. You know, like that had to have like stuck with you for a solid week after. Like, this dude stuck up for me. Like, he came in and saved me.
It was definitely like, I was like, oh, like maybe I could be friends with this person. But I was mortified. Like, I went home just like upset, crying. I was like, I farted, and this kid was just like dogging on me about like farting, even though one of them covered for me. It was still like he was just not letting up. And I was just bawling my eyes out. I was so upset, and it was just cause like I farted, and like that was, I don't know. It was definitely an experience that I still like think about sometimes, and it was just very, it stuck out a lot.
I remember for me it would be stuff in gym class or something like that all the time, or like you go up. You're like called on in class to answer a question, and you say the wrong thing, and then like somebody just says some small like meaningless diss, and I would just like hold on to that for so long, be like, God, I'm so stupid, I can't even like, I don't even deserve to be in school, that kind of thing.
In PE class, it'd be pretty embarrassing too, because I was like the fat, slow kid. I'm still slow, no longer fat, thankfully.
Congratulations.
And I would like, yeah, I know, I really glowed up. I would like be like last place with like the other like non-athletic girls. Like all the boys would just dust me.
That's so sad.
And I would be last in like these like timed like sprints, and it was like, yeah, I was just like the last one with like 2 other girls, and I was just like, what am I doing?
I remember a rare moment. I think this happened. This was a rare moment of camaraderie, and one of those like rare beautiful moments, because as often as there's the shitty ones, there's the beautiful ones, like the dude covering for you, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
But I think in our like 7th or 8th grade year, everyone in my grade, did you guys have to do like the fitness tests every year, and was one of them doing push-ups?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had to do that. I remember one year my whole grade like conspired and agreed to let me win it. And so I am the scrawniest, like I was a toothpick human being. I was made of toothpicks back then. And I mean, I still am, but at least now I'm tall. But I was so thin, I could barely do 2 push-ups.
Yeah.
But the whole grade conspired to like fake it out so that I could fake do mine forever. And then we get to like 30 and everybody else is down for the count and out, and I pushed through to like 40.
That's awesome, but also like kind of like assholey. Like
it was funny though, because I was in on it. Like I thought, I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I won? Yeah. And then everybody came together for it, as I recall. It wasn't like I got shit on for it, but
I remember we would do like pull-ups at like the school that we moved to, and like I can't do I can't do a pull-up, but like it wasn't really that embarrassing for me because it was like quite a bit of people couldn't do pull-ups.
Yeah,
but like it was literally like all the boys just like mobbed around like the pull-up bar and be like, "All right, let's get it!" Just like chanting, and it's like, and it's so weird with like thinking back. It's like why is that an experience? Like,
yeah, it's like the brain's first exposure to testosterone, and it's like cocaine back then. Like the shit is just potent.
Like people can like, if someone does like 25 pull-ups, like they're like God. And like it's normally the people that you would expect, but everyone's just like, holy shit.
Look,
like,
if I encountered someone now that can do 25 pull-ups, I would be inclined to call them God. I'm so far from doing 25 pull-ups.
I can probably do like 1 maybe.
I'd like to think I could do 1, but 2 is out of the question.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
What about teachers back then? Did you have a lot of shitty teachers?
No, I didn't really. I don't think there was like I don't know, with my experience, like yeah, there were like asshole teachers, but I was like always on their good side for the most part. Like I generally did like well enough to where they would be like, oh, like he doesn't really say much, he gets his work done, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I haven't and I was like a pretty well-behaved kid. Like the only one time I got like a demerit was like I forgot like my like a notebook that I was supposed to get in like 6th grade, and like, or it was 5th grade, and like the teacher was just like an asshole about it. It was just like, I'm gonna have to sign your demerit card because you forgot like this spiral notebook for the class, and it's like, okay, well, like what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like. Like,
yeah,
I'm
that
sorry,
shit was always
like, I need
annoying.
to go out and buy one. Like,
buying
that
stuff
school
was always
supplies
annoying.
is one of the dumbest things ever.
Yeah, when you get a demerit for something like that, that's just sort of like a given of the situation. It's not like something you did, but just like, I don't know, a situational bar. Also, I think kids that went to middle school with a demerit and kids that didn't go to school with the demerit system are like one of the most central social stratifications in the world.
Yeah, I remember
like those that experienced it know it so vividly, and those that didn't are just like, what?
Yeah. I vividly remember knowing the people who had just had tons of demerits, just like on the brink of like being like suspended, like they were just like so bad, but they were just like still chugging along, getting these demerits left and right, because they would just be like, play with the scissors wrong, like, oh, like you did this, and it's like, okay, like whatever.
I remember we had a substitute teacher, and there are so many good stories from this thing. This was one of those things where the whole class was on the same page. You know, like everybody there. It was like the social class system free environment when we were in this art class with this substitute. But she would throw out demerits to everybody because everybody was just fucking around with her the whole time. She was horrid. And we would just get tons of demerits, and then we'd literally, like, from that class, from art class, take our 10-minute passing period, walk to the principal's office, and be like, hey, Mrs. Elliott just gave us all 4 demerits, and she would just erase them. She would erase them because the teachers hated this woman, too. She was universally, it was not just the class, the whole school.
That's hilarious.
It was incredible.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh, man.
Those were good times. Do you want to jump into your question now? I think I worry we're going to run through too many good stories to come back to keep up with the middle school thing.
Ask that. This is like kind of similarly related to like the middle school experience, but were you ever into like Cartoon Network shows or just like cartoons?
Not much Cartoon Network. I mean, like, Tom and Jerry was Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I love the shit out of Tom and Jerry. I'd still watch that.
I fucking hated Tom and Jerry.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that show was so boring. Maybe just because they couldn't talk. But, like, yeah.
I was all over it. I loved... Yeah, that totally worked for me. But anyway, I liked that, and some of the older cartoons kind of like that. But no, I didn't watch not a lot of the cartoons that were like coming out when we were kids.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reason why I asked that is because there's this show that I just like found. Apparently it's like has like a cult following, really popular. It's called Over the Garden Wall.
Okay.
Like Elijah Wood voiced it's like a mini series, only 10 episodes, and each episode's like 11 minutes. Elijah Wood voices one of the main dudes, and the dude who created it like also like wrote for like Adventure Time and Misadventures of Flapjack.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like found this show, and I just think it's like I'm not new saying this, but I think it's just like a masterful show. It's like very like autumn, Halloween themed, like Thanksgiving, and personally, like I love kind of just like that kind of like vibe, and it's like it's not scary at all, but it's like has like just the like right amount of spooky to where it's like it feels tense when like things are going on, and it has like every like classic like cartoon, like I don't know what it is like with every cartoon show, but every show like that where it's like where the episodes run like 11 minutes long. I don't know why they only run 11 minutes. I guess that probably is supposed to match with like kids' attention spans, but like the way they utilize that in this show, and just like the art is incredible. And it has like the classic like duo where it's like, okay, like we have like this straight man and like this like completely opposite where it's like, oh, I'm just goofing off.
Like, kind of like the pod, eh?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I just been getting like really interested into just like animation lately. And there's also this show on Netflix called Midnight Gospel that has really interesting art. And it's basically just like a podcast, and like in the background there's like some like storyline going on, but like they're just talking about like philosophical ideas. But I don't know, the reason I'm not like so interested in like the storylines of like animated shows, although like it does like, although it like with this show specifically, like it, if you play them all in succession with each other, like it does feel like a movie, and I think it is supposed to like give off that film aspect. I just lost my train of thought.
I'll jump in and say I think, well, for a long time I was not really big into most animated stuff, like movies and TV, both I was not heavily into. And I think really what was like the defining shift for me there, that's gotten me sort of back on the train since, is when we all together went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And that's when my mind was just like blown by the potential that animation has to not just be, I'd always thought of it as like it's just like slightly less good than the real thing.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, the first time I saw something and consciously thought like, this could not have been as good as it is if it had been done live action.
We saw that movie together.
Yeah, we saw that with the whole group of people.
Yeah.
That was a fun weekend. Yeah, that was like the thing that really shifted that for me. And since then, I've super gotten into just like beautifully done animation and things like that.
Yeah, normally I have been like in the school of thought where it's like, okay, like if it's done like live action, like typically it's like gonna have like a more compelling, just like everything. But yeah, I do agree with like Spider-Verse. Something like that can probably, although it can be done in live action, I do think animation gives it like a sort of charm to it that just like makes it perfect, to where like, yeah, they have like these serious moments, but that's the thing like I love about animation. Like it almost like takes like the Bollywood format where they just kind of like throw everything, every genre at the wall. Like there's like something for everyone, where it's like, oh, we have like these like cute parts where, okay, we'll have like this character who like is comedic relief, but also and there will be like storylines that can be taken very seriously, and can be thrown into like some aspects of horror and just like thrilling. Yeah, I feel like just like anything can be thrown into animation, and that's kind of what I was getting at with when I was going along before I lost my train of thought, is like just like the technical, like the story, like the scripting aspects of animation. I feel like are so interesting because there is like there's this like very like specific charm to animation that you can't get with anything. And although I do think animation makes it really hard for you to care about characters, like I feel like it's a very difficult thing to like actually like have, like it was like you're watching like a movie or a TV show that's live action, where you're watching it and be like, okay, like I actually really care about these characters. And I think that's.
Have you ever seen? Did you watch BoJack Horseman?
I haven't, but I've been wanting to.
Man,
I know
that's another game changer for me. First of all, I think it's beautiful. Like the way they animate it, I think is just gorgeous. And just the way they like bring those characters to life, because that was another part of it for me always. It was just like a slightly lesser version of the real thing, because you can't get the same like expressions or the same kind of deal. But I think it can have this incredible power, like you're mentioning, to move you through time and space in a way you can't really do with live action. That can bring you into characters in a new way.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely very different experience. And I feel like there's very few shows that are able to do it. Like the show that I was watching, Over the Garden Wall, like at the end, like I was really like invested into these like characters, and Yeah, I was like surprised because I was like, oh, this is an animated show, and I'm like I actually like give a shit about this because like normally like I'm a big fan of regular show, and like I just like normally watch it for like fanfare, just like for fun, like yeah, obviously if there's like a like storyline or like anything dramatic like that, I'll probably be a little bit invested into it. But like anything other than that, like it's so like serialized to where it's like almost like you can watch each episode without like having just like picking up where it left off. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't really matter like how you watch it, you're just like watching it. Yeah, I don't know. I've always really wanted to write like or create something like that, or just like write something, because I think it's 11 minutes, it's like pretty short, and I just think like it, like you can do anything. I don't know. I just love that about animation like that.
Yeah, it's such a fun like medium and format to be working in, both that like short form thing that you're talking about and the animated system. They both bring, like, I think together there's a really interesting medley there. I remember listening or reading maybe an interview with Seth MacFarlane, obviously the creator behind Family Guy, which like people love and hate, but it's definitely pulled something off. And I think what he's saying would apply to something like The Simpsons, which is widely beloved. But he mentioned just that shows like that, they can go to a different level of sort of severity and satire and cover so much more ground because of that animated format, where they don't have to like get sets and people to the same place. Like they can do a cutaway and it can last 2 seconds and make the whole episode with that 2 seconds. But if you're doing a budgeted live show, you just can't pull that stuff off. But I think it's really hard to make that kind of thing worthwhile. I don't know if you've ever gone back and watched movies you loved when you were a kid, but most of those tend to be animated, at least for me.
Yeah.
And I'll go back every once in a while and be like, man, I loved The Emperor's New Groove when I was a kid, and it's just horrible to watch now.
I haven't revisited that, but I can imagine. It's incredibly hard to make animation compelling. I feel like, but when it hits, definitely. Like for example, like Into the Spider-Verse, it's like everyone's like wet dream, like for the past like 2 years. Like everyone is like, like coming in their pants like whenever they hear Into the Spider-Verse, and like, oh, it's the best Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten. And
yeah, like, hot take. I liked Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean, like I liked it. I didn't like love it. Like it was just like a cute story, I thought. But yeah, obviously, like if you're like Marvel ride or die, like you'll probably love the shit out of that. Also, yeah. I don't know. I was just like really fascinated, by all that. I wonder what Brett had to have said about these questions. I don't know.
I'm honestly, I forgot Brett had takes on stuff like this, frankly.
Yeah, honestly, what is it? What time marker are we at? We're at 45.
Oh, nice.
We're probably at like 43 minutes. Brett has vanished from my mind.
It took us 43 minutes to forget Brett.
Yeah. Oh,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah. Brett, I hope you oh, Brett's not fucking listening this far. We'll make him.
Yeah, no. He's out after we're done shitting on him.
Yeah. All he cares about is himself.
He's just a huge ego.
Yeah. Yeah, working with him is one of the toughest things I've had to go through in a while.
Yeah, honestly, it's like we're going from an 8-person podcast to a 2-person podcast. Just how much you've got to work around Brett.
Yeah, Brett is he's one of those people that's going to be talked about in the tabloids saying like, Brett, difficult to work with. He's going to be like the Edward Norton of the podcast realm.
That's the name I was trying to come up with.
Well, that's
the Edward Norton of podcasts. Brett.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's too bad because he's never touching a podcast again after this because I'm gonna
we
make
will
sure,
run his name through the mud.
Yeah, he will never touch a podcast again.
We have that kind of power. A lot of people might question it, but that's within our means.
Yeah, we carry a lot of weight in the podcast community. Yeah, expect us to have episodic conversations each episode. Brett's gonna be a topic. Expect
it
that.
It seems to be maybe the only topic that we can nail at the moment. I would say after 40 minutes we have two conclusions. The first is we've forgotten about Brett, and the second is Brett is also the only thing that we can really talk about well. So,
hey, we really hit our stride. We had really thoughtful discussions, but I just really feel like we need to bring him back to Brett and how just fucking awful he is. I mean,
well, we've got to have a coda. I mean, we've got to have a coda, and it's nice to tie it back to the beginning. That's classic writing. So,
yeah.
Fuck Brett.
Yeah, fuck Brett. Honestly,
I think we should mention on a genuine note of seriousness, if any of our dear listeners, our dear and close to our heart listening community, if anybody has any suggestions on different things and formats we should be looking at, we're I think it's fair to say that we're trying to figure out how to manage the transition well and that kind of thing.
No, yeah, seriously. If you're watching this far, please type in the comments. I think people actually... Here, I'm going to look at my YouTube analytics real quick. I do think people actually watch till the end, which is...
Can you tell on there if people like watch in spurts? Because that's definitely what I do when I come back, is I watch like 15 minutes at a time as I like get a minute or something like that.
I think I can check that. Hold on, I'm going to go to the most recent pod episode.
It'll be the water episode.
One of the greats.
It stands out in the library of pods that we've done, certainly.
Oh, audience retention sucks on the water episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, people
they didn't
only
stick
made it
with it.
Yeah, people only made it like 6 minutes in. And then
Wow.
they dipped. Yeah. Oh well. The thing that sucks is that. Oh, sorry. If no one's fucking listening, I don't care. I'm still putting this in.
Yeah.
The thing that sucks is the fact that we were so inconsistent with it. We were like getting quite a bit of views.
Mm-hmm.
Within like the first 5 episodes. And I think that, I mean, I'm sure it helps like that we have like pretty good titles, but we really like we were rocking like 60 to 40 views like an episode. I think the last time our pod hit 40 was the Coke or Pepsi one, which was in July. And like the rest have gotten like 30. The water episode got 17. I mean, I think it just has to do with like inconsistency.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that I am uploading like my normal videos every Saturday, and that we're probably gonna try and get more frequent podcast episodes. Now that fucking Brett's gone, fuck him.
Yeah, hopefully we can pull that off.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hopefully we'll be able to stay pretty consistent. So, because obviously there's like, I don't know, with the water episode, not that many, but on the what's the best animal to be in a relationship with? We got 5% of the audience made it to 52.
That's pretty good.
52 minutes, and like obviously there were spurts because people will skip through and watch like 10 to 5 minutes at a time.
All things considered, though, I think that's pretty solid. 5% watching the whole thing. I'd take it.
I mean, it's better than when I was doing the podcast, when I was doing the Tuesday podcast by myself. No one watched that thing, but it was kind of just like a therapeutic thing for me. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's like a base for this. And if this, when this podcast gets more popular and people revisit our catalog, people will be like, wow, I'm glad Charlie and Connor had a really candid discussion about the state of the podcast.
Yeah, well, and in the episodes prior, can you believe they worked with that anchor of a co-host?
Yeah, no kidding. What was I going to say? It was something related. I forgot. What the fuck?
Take your time.
No, I know. We got it. Yeah, I don't know. We're just doing this for fun, pretty much. But we also care about how well it does. And it'll probably be doing better as the more episodes we put out.
Well, yeah, and I've always thought that's kind of the beautiful balance of it. It's like it's certainly something that we're not trying to get anywhere. The fun of it is just in like hanging out and doing something with each other for a little bit. But at the same time, I think the fun of that comes from like seeing what we can do with it and seeing what we can make of it. So it's a very nice like gently propelled thing and happy.
We do this for fun, but we definitely care about the quality, and we care a lot about how well it's received, and like for the people, I mean, like people comment on it, and people like will give it a like or whatever. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I got nothing.
Okay, well we've really bombed the last probably 10 minutes of this thing.
Hey, people find this interesting.
A little bit of how the sausage is made, kind of stuff. I think we talked a little bit before we started recording here, and I think we've got some neat ideas coming in the pipeline here, and hopefully those will start to come in the next few weeks. So if you've made it to this point, and if you have, we like owe you a free shirt or something like that. Yeah. Look forward to some positive development.
Yeah, now that Brett's gone, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and let's make it very clear that it is the lack of Brett that is causing this. I'm not sure that we've touched on that, but we want to make that clear.
No. All right, well, thank you guys for watching the Bad Questions Worst Answers podcast. Goodbye.
See ya.